Good evening. Welcome to PoliticIt podcast. I'm Senator John Johnson, and today we have Leslie Barrowes with us. And you're running for County Party Chair.
I am. I've filed to run for that position.
So you just filed, didn't you? Just recently?
Yes, on Tuesday.
Okay. And so, there may be some people that aren't real familiar with you. Anybody that's been around the campaigns have known that the kind of work that you did. But let's talk a little bit about you. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
I grew up in southern Idaho on a cattle ranch.
Oh, that's cool.
The ranch is actually in Nevada, but unless you're familiar with the area, we just say it's in southern Idaho.
Oh, but it's actually in Nevada.
It's actually in Nevada.
Okay.
So I grew up summers on the ranch in Nevada, and during the school year, I was in Idaho going to school.
Okay.
So I call Idaho the home.
So was that a small town
It is a small town.
where you were? And so what high school was it?
Oakley High School.
Oakley High School. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your high school experience.
In a small town, it takes everyone to do everything. So I played basketball. I loved that. I also was on the student body.
Oh, that's cool. So you were an officer?
Yes.
Class officer?
Yep.
So
Like,
was that
think back? That was all.
oh, was that kind of your first foray into politics then? Being on the student
Yes,
council?
I think so. My dad was the mayor of our town,
Oh.
and so maybe that was, but I didn't really think anything.
So did
when
you
I
ever
was
help your
younger.
dad on campaigns and stuff?
No.
You just weren't that excited about it.
No,
at
it wasn't
time.
that I wasn't excited. I just was young. So
Oh.
it was just one of those things where he did that, and I'm like, my dad's the mayor. I didn't really
Yeah,
join in on a
right.
campaign or anything.
But-
It's a small town, so it's not everyone knows everyone.
So how big was your class?
My graduating class
Uh-huh.
was 17 people.
17 people. And so this wasn't a big high school then.
No.
Was it a school?
Yeah, ours was the smallest class. Most of the classes had 30.
Wow. So there was like one class, right? It was like one classroom or something. right?
We went through kindergarten to graduation with each other.
At the same
So
building.
there
different.
is a grade school and there's a high school, and the junior high is a part of the high school.
Okay.
But you become family when you're spending that much time with the same people for the most part. You become family.
So do you-
become close. So in that hometown, the 24th of July is the time when you do the family reunion of the town.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Everyone
Comes back.
back.
So do you still
up.
have connections with that town?
Yes,
Oh.
very much so.
So is there a lot of family there, or did some of your family stay there?
Yes, I have 3 brothers who live there, and my mom is still living. And she lives in the family home that I grew up in.
Oh, very cool. And so you do get together, and people from the town, do they come back then at 4th of July?
24th, yes, they do.
Oh, on the
Pioneer
24th.
Day.
It's Pioneer Day. Okay.
They do, and you have your class reunions and the town breakfast and lunch and programs, and it's a big family reunion of sorts, and it's amazing. I love that type of camaraderie that we have in that town.
So when did you leave?
I left after I graduated and went to BYU.
Oh, you went to BYU.
And then I found someone that I wanted to marry, and then we married and graduated and then moved to Colorado.
Oh, what did you do in Colorado?
My husband took on a job with one of the big 6 at the time accounting firms.
Oh, so he's an accountant.
That is what his background is in
Oh.
accounting and consulting, IT stuff.
So does he still work in accounting?
So he and I own our own software business.
Oh, what kind of software?
It's an asset tracking software business that we started back in the end of 1999,
Wow.
and have been doing it for a little over 25 years, which in the IT business is like dog years.
Right. Yeah. So is that what brought you back to Utah then?
Yes, was starting that business.
Because I know you live out in South Ogden somewhere,
Yes,
right?
we've lived in South Ogden for 25 years, and we've raised our family here.
So your kids then, does that mean they went to Bonneville High School? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
H. Guy Child Elementary and South Junior High and Bonneville High School.
Oh, very
of them.
cool. So what got you into politics? I mean, of course you did it in high school, but what got you interested in helping out?
I think that when the energy started kind of trading in the political world, I found myself complaining a lot.
Okay.
And so much to the point that I thought I either need to jump in and help and do something, or I need to shut up. And I opted to jump in and help do something. And that first jump in was with Katie Hall.
Oh.
She decided that she was going to run, and I said, I will help you, and help to.
So that's where you first started, is with Katie Hall.
Yeah.
Interesting. So do you live close to Katie then?
Yes.
Is that okay?
We're friends.
Oh, very cool.
And so
That was quite a campaign. I mean, that was a tough road
it
to
was
Hall,
a big
because
jump
she
in.
ran. I mean, she ran against Kelly Miles, who was actually quite popular.
It wasn't easy. He was a good opponent, but I think we were able to get the message out of what Katie wanted for a vision going forward, and I agreed with that vision. So it was easy to get behind her.
Oh, very cool.
And-
We're going to take a break and we'll come right back. Okay.
Tired of media bias? Frustrated by political noise? PoliticIt.com cuts through the clutter, giving you real facts, clear analysis, and unbiased insight on the issues that matter most. Stay informed, stay empowered. Whether it's elections, policy changes, or breaking news, we've got you covered. No spin, no agendas, just truth you can trust. Visit PoliticIt.com today, because informed citizens shape the future. PoliticIt.com, where politics meets clarity.
Welcome back to PoliticIt. We've got Leslie Barrowes with us. We were having a good conversation, but you said something while we were taking a break that I thought was really interesting, and that's this idea of your dinner table at home. I just thought that was kind of fascinating.
Out at the ranch.
Yeah, out at the ranch. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
We are. We joke that if you are at the ranch, you meant to be there or you are lost. And so in my growing up, a lot of people would show up lost. And so I can't count how many people joined us at our dinner table. So we would joke that it's the magic dinner table, and the magic cook, which was my mom and me a lot, that there was always room for more at the table. And
You always had plenty of food.
always plenty of food, and always room to put more chairs at that table. And there was a lot of people at the table, and it fit more.
Oh, interesting.
And so that's been kind of something I've grown up with, is that there's inclusion. There's always room for more.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's kind of an interesting that's kind of an interesting backdrop for getting into the political process. You know, we were talking about this campaign you were working with Katie Hall on. That ended up being pretty tough, right?
I tell you, growing up on a ranch, you learn the value of work, and you learn how to work, and you also learn the pride with accomplishment of a job well done. And so when I say yes to something, that's what I bring to it. And so when I told Katie I'm happy to help her, I'd bring that to it. And then
So what kinds of things did you do with Katie on that campaign?
a lot of what I did, so part of that is in Davis County, and I felt that maybe that would be where we would be weakest. And so I hit Davis County part.
So you
Knocked
would
on a lot of doors.
You knocked on a lot of doors. I know Katie knocked on a lot of
Katie
doors. Too.
knocked on probably every door. And yeah, Katie put in the work. Katie was an amazing candidate and has shown to be a really good representative.
Oh yeah.
She's been very good.
Yeah, I was surprised this time around. She passed a bill to to help protect doctors. I thought was really an amazing one. I didn't think anybody could ever do things on malpractice that would actually help both sides.
Right.
And her emergency room bill was
She's
very well
ran
done.
some tough yet really good bills.
Yeah.
She's had some great legislation.
Yeah,
It's been proud to say that she's right from our own neighborhood and doing so well.
yeah. Well, and it, one of the things that people don't realize running for office is it is a lot of work. And it's so amazing when you get people from the grassroots that help, right? And, the fact that you would go out and knock doors for her was something.
Yep.
What do you see as the role? I mean, you're going to run as the Weber County Party Chair. So what do you see as the role of that person?
I think that it's important to get good conservative people elected. I think it's important to protect our values and the party platform. I think that finding someone who fits those aspects of the platform is very important. Then you don't have to worry that they're going to go rogue or something. They fit right in there. And also protecting our caucus system. What other system would let me be able to talk to all of the people running as just the Joe average citizen?
Right.
And be able to get involved, go meet them, go talk with them, vet them, and say, hey, we've got some good conservative candidates here that we want to help promote. And that the caucus system is amazing. And I think a lot of people, maybe they've always had it and take it for granted, but it's amazing, and it would not be good if we lost that.
Well, you think about it. We're a constitutional republic, right? Which means we're a representative form of government. We get people to represent us, to do the work, but it's a system that puts we the people in charge, right? And I don't think there's a better example of that than the caucus system itself,
I agree.
because not everybody has the time to put in to vet every single candidate that might be appearing as the party representative, right? And so the fact that you've spent a lot of time doing that, you understand that takes work. And
it takes effort.
By assigning someone in your neighborhood to go vet the candidates for you, that's kind of it's typical of this representative form of government.
And one
right?
thing that I did after that is wrote a report and gave it back to my district about what I found out about the candidates so that they could know. Because it's one thing for them to send me to represent them, but then they're going to get a primary or a general ballot, and they need to know what I found out.
Yeah, what you found out about these people, right? And, that's the beauty, I guess, of, one of the nice things about the caucus system is you can also vet people based on what our platform is. What do we believe as a people, right?
Absolutely.
And so what are your plans? I mean, do you have some plans as to what you'd like to see happen with the party?
I do. I want to, right now in the county, there's a divide. And I feel like it's a divide that we could overcome. And my plan is to bring unity so that I spent a lot of time helping to get some good people elected. Jill Colford was another one that I played the right hand of her campaign, and we're able to flip that seat.
Right.
And so
that's a seat that's been held by Democrats for quite a while, right? And that was an important seat
it was a really important
to
seat.
the Republicans.
It was a seat that turned Weber County red, which it hasn't been all red for years.
Right.
And I helped play a key role in getting that to happen. And it's something that I want to capitalize on. I've spent a lot of time helping to find good candidates, and once they're elected, they're not our enemy. Yeah. We need to be an ally and a resource and a help in their position and the county position. They need to work hand in hand.
And you think about it, I mean, that there, for some reason, there's this feeling that if you're an elected official, now all of a sudden you're not part of the caucus system, you're not part of the party. And really, if we want to do something about SB 54, don't you think we need to build stronger relationships
Absolutely.
with people that are elected?
I completely believe that. The strategy is key. I think that policy for policy, we're not going to find a difference. It's the strategy of how to make it come to pass. It's the execution.
Right.
And so that's something that I am able to do, is to bring people together and get talking at the table. Maybe I learned that when I was young. But that is
Of just being able to communicate with
to be
people.
able to communicate and to build the bridge and have the unity where the road is paved both directions.
Well, that's why I wanted to come back to that story you told, because the fact that you would take somebody that's just off the street, right, that just showed up and all of a sudden they're eating dinner with you. I mean, there weren't a lot of restaurants close to where you are, right? If somebody was lost, they might not eat
True.
for a while, right?
Or run out of gas.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that's a good example, in this idea of really bringing people together, getting us all united. You know,
Can you imagine the dynamic of Weber County if we are a county that is working hand in hand with our elected delegation? The powerhouse that would be, and the example maybe to the rest of the state of what can be done when you work hand in hand and talk and you have communication and you're open.
Yeah. Well, when I saw certain individuals that were associated with the party actually go out and, you know, for some reason the elected officials weren't conservative enough. I look at the elected officials we have in Weber County, quite frankly, and I think it's probably one of the most conservative delegations
I would agree with you.
in the legislature.
Something that we did, so I currently serve as the District 11 chair.
Okay.
And so that puts me on the county executive committee. And something that was in beta form this year was a bill file. And it was a bill where people read bills and gave opinions or questions, or maybe look at this, maybe look at that, ask this question. And it was in beta, so it wasn't spread out.
Right.
But it ended up being a gold nugget, something that we could be very helpful of giving an opinion on. Okay, so it was a bill tracker that that took maybe 60, 80 of the hot topic bills. And then what we did was, as an EC, we voted on how we would vote on those bills. Now, a lot of the bills end up having amendments or subs, and they
Right.
go in one way and come out the other way. And so we weighed in on them, and then we also took all the votes of our elected delegation. Do you know what we learned?
What?
That in the 90+% of the time,
You agreed?
they're voting exactly how we vote, which tells us that they're not conservative enough, or they're not this enough or that enough in black and white stats.
Right.
Shows that we're on the same page. Now we just need to get talking
Well,
back and
you
forth.
know, I can tell you one thing. There was one resolution that was passed locally that basically said, you know, if our delegation doesn't support a Secretary of State, then we need to run against them. And quite frankly, being an elected official, I just thought, I haven't even seen the bill yet. I don't even know what's entailed in it. And now all of a sudden they're telling me if I don't vote the way they want me to vote, that I'm not going to be a candidate.
And if you vote for it, then X, Y, and Z is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and one of the interesting things with that is that just builds contention.
Absolutely.
Right.
How about a conversation? How about an email saying, hey, this one's coming around the bend. We see problems with it. And I think it was on the precinct size
Yeah.
of making mega precincts or something. Well, it went in one way and came out the other way, as it goes through the process, and came out being a decent bill. So
Well,
now, do we hold true to everyone that voted for it, or do we send an apology, hat in hand?
Well, and I think it's I think it's a mistaken notion of what the role of the party is anyway, right? I mean, my feeling always was the party ought to be supporting. You know, if you're going to get good candidates and you want them to run, that ought to be the backstop where you get support.
Absolutely.
To help you be successful.
I agree with that. Doing an after fact of got you is not a way to win friends and influence neighbors, but the conversation of, let's have a conversation. Here's something that potentially is problematic. Let's talk about it.
Well,
And then obviously we're on the same page anyway.
yeah. Well, and in order to win a seat like you did with Jill Coford, that's a seat that's a swing district. So that means we have to get as many people as we can into the party. We want people that are going to support our way of doing things, right? And so, our party platform.
Yes.
And we want to elect Republican representatives. And we need to realize that all of our districts are different.
It's true. And look at President Trump's example. He won with a big tent policy. There was room for everyone.
Right.
He brought in a lot of different diverse groups, and all the shades of red got him the red wave.
Right.
That we talk about and want to ride on.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we want Democrats in the party.
No, absolutely, it does not mean that at all.
Right? It just means that we want to make sure that not all of us have exactly the same position.
And that makes us stronger because we think of things that, like, you could think of something that I hadn't thought of because your experience is different than me, and it makes me better for listening to it.
And your 90% friend isn't your enemy.
No. And I love that that's now a black and white stat of proof that we have got in 90+%.
Right.
We're on the same page. That's huge. Now, if that bill file would have shown something else, you'd be like, oh, we got more work to do, but we're there
Right.
on that.
Yeah, maybe we need different candidates. If we find someone that's just way out there and never voting
Right.
the party principles, that's one thing.
Which would be
right?
telling, but it's not like that.
Right.
So now let's build the unity.
I think that's great. So what's the next step? What can people do to help you?
Talk to the county delegates. That would be amazing to get the word out that that I have got a vision that helps create unity in our county. I think it's an invaluable thing that we need. And so the convention will be on April 12th, and the county delegates are who vote for this position. So getting county delegates to arrive and to vote and engage with the idea of we don't need contention, we don't need gotchas, we come together.
It's interesting. I was just at a special election up in Morgan County. We had almost 95% of the delegates
That
show
is
up,
awesome.
right? For that meeting. We need that in Weber County.
We do
don't
need that in Weber County. And I think we'll have a decent show up. I'm making lots of calls, sending out lots of emails, texts, did a mailer to introduce myself so that there's kind of a picture with the name so that there's a little recognition there.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for doing this. And,
Thank you.
And I appreciate having you on the podcast.
yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll see you. And we'll see you guys next week.